The NFL is back. Oh, it's my favorite. You know, that's why I'm in the hot seat here today. We're going to talk turf injuries. We're going to talk new stadiums, Super Bowl contenders, and I got these two guys here with me, and we're coming in hot. Welcome to Comin In Hot here on CIH Media. I'm Eric Pesolano. That's Chuck Lasik. That is Mike Perkins. Today we're taking you around the National Football League, which has a couple of weeks in the books already.
You guys are actually watching?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think for Chuck and I, it's what we live for. You're a hockey guy. We're the football guys.
Yeah.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I love football, and I enjoy the NFL. I'm a longtime NFL fan. Just not happy with what's going on right now.
I've missed a Bears game since 1994. Either I've seen at least a quarter of a Bears game since 1994. I have not missed a Bears game since.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so am I. Honestly, it shows you how sad my life is. So.
My streak for the 49ers is probably around the early 2000s somewhere. I haven't missed a game. I'm in the same ship you are.
Well,
who's
you
a Packer guy?
I am a Packer
Yeah.
guy. Yep, longtime Packer fan.
Oh,
in fact,
well then.
in fact, as a youngster, was at my grandparents' house. It was over Thanksgiving. Packer game was on, and my grandfather asked me, "Michael, who's your favorite football team?" And I blurted out, if you can believe this, the Dallas Cowboys.
Uh-oh.
You had the gall to do that.
I had the gall to do that.
Uh-oh.
So what they did is they threw me out in a snowbank, and they told me that I could not come back in until I was a Packer fan. So I easily turned and made my way back into Thanksgiving dinner, and have been a Packer fan ever since.
Well, how about that? Well, the three of us are sitting okay right now after these first couple games of the season. What are we, a combined 5-1?
6-0.
No, 5-1.
You lost one? Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we lost week one.
Yeah, you lost.
I'm the only one with a loss
Okay.
here.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
All right, well, then let me ask you to start off, since you were the dissenting voice here to start the show. What are you not happy about?
Where should I start? Well, you know, I mean, I guess what it really comes down to for me is that the players right now, I don't think they're appreciative of what they have and what they do. And I guess I think it's true of all professional sports. But just for me, the NFL athletes today, the majority of them, they live charmed lives. They make a ton of money. They're visibly known on a national level. Most of them can hardly walk into a supermarket or a store without being noticed or recognized. I don't think NFL players appreciate what they have.
I could not disagree with that more.
Well,
I think it's the opposite.
I go for it. Let me hear it.
Look, my stance has come from they're very well aware of how much money they make. They're very well aware.
Well, I know they know how much money they make. Of course they do.
Of the life they have, and I think they're just using their platform to help others who don't have what they do.
Why don't they give their money to a cause then?
They do. They do.
The ones that do, I am all for. Okay? But there are some that don't, and some that don't act appropriately, and it just turns me off.
The ones who don't act appropriately, I'm with you there. Especially these knuckleheads who keep going out and getting arrested. Those are the ones.
Okay, there you go.
That I can't deal. Sorry, those are the ones I can't deal. The ones who are speaking up for all the different causes, I'm good with that. That I think is a necessity. But the ones that are going out and breaking curfew and getting caught doing stuff, yeah, I have zero tolerance for that. I don't run a team. I can't make those decisions. I know those guys know that, or the owners know that those guys are making money for them no matter what. How about this? I'll ask you this, Chuck. These knuckleheads that do go out there and get arrested and still get a chance to play on the field over and over again, do you think the owners know that these guys are going to bring the three-ring circus and have fans still watch because they want to see what knucklehead moves these guys are going to make?
No, well, you know what? Obviously, if you can catch a ball in traffic or you can cover a guy, I'm sorry, you know what? It's kind of like the relief pitcher, kind of almost like the Steve Howe syndrome where you're going to actually have a chance to play in the NFL. Honestly, it doesn't make a difference if you can run a 4.2 40. You're going to have that opportunity. It doesn't make a difference, and unfortunately, the owners see that, and you're going to
Money
get that
talks,
many chances.
boys. Money talks.
Exactly. And it doesn't make a difference how many chances you're going to get. You're going to get those chances. It doesn't make a difference how many times you screw up, but if you can run that 4.2 40, and you can sit there and leap, 40, you have that 48-inch vertical and can outleap the other defenders and grab that ball, you're going to have that chance. And that's pure and simple. And no matter how many times you screw up, you're going to have that opportunity, and it doesn't make a difference. The owners are going to just see past all that other bull stuff and let you going to give you a contract. Might not be as much money as you want at the first time, but you're still going to have an opportunity to play.
Yeah, I think the guys who get made example out of are the ones who are, number 50, 51, and 52 on the roster.
But let me say this, because there are some really good guys in the NFL, guys that are toting the line, guys that play for the right reasons. They play for their team. They play for their teammates. Those guys, I'm behind 100%. I love the NFL. I'm sorry, every year and Halloween when I was a kid, I was a football player. That's what I was. Yep. And I wore a New England Patriots uniform one year. If you can believe that, sir.
I'm not sure I can, but I'll take your word for it.
They couldn't throw you out in the snow back then,
because
could they?
I had my mother stencil a Patriot logo on a white helmet that I had.
Wow.
Yeah, all those years ago.
That's hardcore.
Yep, that is hardcore.
Wow. Well, we are all fans of the league. I know we're going to continue watching, even if it might be a little bit harder.
I'm watching from afar.
From afar. Okay. Well, good enough. Well, we're watching our teams. We mentioned combined 5-1 for the three of us and the teams we support. Take a look at this right here. 11 teams are 2-0 so far, including the Packers and the Bears. 3/4 of the NFC West are still undefeated, Niners notwithstanding. The Raiders, the two participants in the AFC Championship game last year, Chiefs and Titans, are still 2-0. I don't think the 72 Dolphins have anything to worry about this season because I think this is going to end real quick. Let's talk about some of the surprise teams we've seen through the first couple weeks. For me, I think the Bears are one of the bigger surprises. I know that they played the Giants this past week, and it wasn't the most sound of victory, a victory nonetheless. Chuck, what's the assessment of your boys here?
Well,
so far?
you know what? It's kind of like the bend or don't break. Both games, resulted on basically deflections in the end zone. Obviously, the first week, rookie Jalen Johnson had to deflect a pass against the Lions, and thankfully, if it wasn't for a drop pass in the end zone by a rookie, I'm trying to think of his name. I want to say, gosh, I can't remember the guy's name. But if it wasn't for a drop pass by the Detroit rookie, they'd be done right there. But then again, there was another deflected pass against the Giants as well. Don't forget they're also minus Saquon Barkley as well. But that's Bears are living on borrowed time. We'll see this next coming Sunday against Atlanta as well. Atlanta has a dangerous offense. Not only does Matt Ryan he threw for almost 400 yards against the Cowboys. We have a very good defense, but it's going to be interesting to see as well. Not only do they have a good running attack or good passing attack, but a good running attack as well with Todd Gurley. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to Chuck Pagano and the defensive coordinator for the Bears is going to be able to sit there and bottle up that Atlanta offense. So and then on top of it, you got to see which Mitch is going to show up. He was excellent in the first half against New York, just like he was excellent in the second half against Detroit. A little shaky in the second half against the Giants. The interceptions, you could say, they were not his fault, but still, the Bears' offense was kind of stagnant. So, want to see a full game from Mitch to see what's going to happen.
That's the most reserved I've ever seen him talk about his football team. Tell them what you just told me when we were sitting off camera just before, how you really felt the Bears were going to do this week.
We're going to get our butts kicked.
Okay, that's more of the Chuck Lasik that I like to hear. Chicago, like I said, two not so great opponents, but they did get the W, and in the end, that's all that matters. Let's stay in the division. We'll talk about the Packers over here, who are averaging 42.5 points per game so far in their first two games. Aaron Rodgers, every year they say he's done. It's almost like he's the new Tom Brady, but he's out there, and he looks just fine.
Boy, is he getting it done. But I guess I will have to make mention that the other side of the coin, the defensive play for the Packers, has not been stellar by any means, and it's going to be their Achilles heel at some point, unless they shore a few things up in that area. But I really think, the real eyes are on the Patriots and Tampa, and really what they're doing right now, and that's where my eyes are, to see the departure of Tom Brady in New England and see what happens there, and then the incoming new quarterback to Tampa and what he can do for a team like that. That's from year to year is they've had some really, really down years.
Yeah.
You know, so for somebody like him to come in there and hopefully turn things around. I mean, if you've ever been to Tampa, it's a great community and they have great fan support for teams that are there, and I'd like to see the same happen with the Buccaneers.
But you want to talk about a surprise team.
And that's hard for me to say because, I'm a, NFC Norris kind of guy.
I knew you were going to say NFC
right?
Norris. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Don't got to deal with them anymore, though, divisionally.
But, traditionally that was the battle.
That was a good one.
Talk about a surprise team, though. Let's look at the Las Vegas Raiders right there. I mean, they went in to Carolina.
Can you say that with a straight face?
I know, exactly. But they went into Carolina. They spanked the Panthers the first week. And then last night, basically on Monday Night Football at home, they took care of business against a very good New Orleans Saints team. Granted, they were without their star wideout Michael Thomas, but they pretty much bottled up Drew Brees and kind of held them to only 24 points. And I say only held them to 24 points. I mean, you're still talking about Drew Brees, one of the top QBs in the game. And Brees looked a lot, not a lot. He looked very confused. And Brees did not – he looked out of sorts. And I'm sorry, but Michael Thomas, you take him out of the game, Brees still had plenty of options where to go to. And he was just mystified. And it was incredible to see Brees, who's operating that offense for many, many years, and he was confused. And you got to give Raiders all the credit. And John Gruden's done a great job with the staff he's given. He has that big tight end now, as well as Josh Jacobs sitting there running the ball for him. I mean, that's as well as balanced offense. And you know what? They could even give Kansas City a run as the year progresses.
That's a hot take. Right there. I'll tell you what, you've done a good job against Drew Brees when you held him to 24 points.
Exactly.
That's not a low total.
Exactly.
But for them it is. Packers get to deal with the Saints next Sunday night. So that'll be a fun one to watch.
Well, quarterback versus quarterback there. So
Yep.
see who's going to throw the most. And
Pissed off Drew Brees. Let's say it's got not pissed off Aaron Rodgers. Let's say.
Yeah, but no, Rodgers. He just goes through the. I mean, he looks like he's going through the motions, but he's like a general out there. He just gets his work done and gets the job done and goes out there and plays ball. So I mean, what can you say?
I honestly think that drafting that quarterback out of out of Southern Utah, is that what? Yeah, drafting that quarterback out of Southern Utah was just a ploy by the Packers just to piss off Aaron Rodgers into the season what he's going to have right now.
I think that was a blind. I think that was a blind
yeah.
mistake. I think it was a blind mistake. They didn't know what to do. They made
that was well calculated.
Okay.
That was well calculated.
Wow, that was a Bears fan saying that there was some faith in the Packers front office, and traditionally a Packers fan saying no faith in the Packers front office. That sounds about right.
No, we like it on the field, whatever happens there.
Talking about the game on Monday night when Vegas got to open up the new Allegiant Stadium. We've seen the two new stadiums in action already, SoFi Stadium out in Inglewood, California, and we saw Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. What are your first impressions of these new buildings?
Gorgeous.
Both
Absolutely
Both
gorgeous.
of them.
Yeah, absolutely
State
gorgeous.
of the art.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, $5 billion Stan Kroenke spends of his own money. Oh, boy, it must be nice, to spend $5 billion of your own money to sit there. And what I like about it, too, I think both these stadiums are not turf, but they're natural grass. And what I like about it is you can slide the fields out and basically have the grass grow in the natural sunlight. I'm not sure how much time you're going to let the grass grow in Vegas, but at least in Southern California, you're going to have some times, as long as you avoid the fires and everything else. But, of course, I'm kidding. But still, at the same point, you're going to –
I don't think Inglewood has any worries.
Is it Inglewood? Is it in Inglewood?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was in I forget wherever.
Right on top of Hollywood Park,
Oh,
the
that's
old
right.
racetrack
That's right.
was.
That's right. It is in Inglewood. That's
But you
right.
talk about Stan Kroenke, man. What a year for that guy.
Yeah,
You got the new stadium. You got a tenant who moved into your new stadium.
True.
Your basketball teams in the Western Conference Finals.
Exactly.
Your hockey teams got the name of the trophy. Why did I lose it?
Name of the
Calder Trophy winner.
Calder Trophy
Thank
winner.
you.
Yep, there you go.
And you're going to have the
Awesome.
Olympics being played there. Or,
Gonna have the opening ceremony
just
Olympics in 2028 in that stadium. Oh, Stan Kroenke, living large right
yeah,
now.
exactly. $5 billion investment going to pay off rather quickly.
You know what's funny is I've actually, for all of us, I think we've seen Allegiant Stadium in person. Haven't seen SoFi in
No,
person.
no.
We live closer to SoFi.
Exactly.
Well, I just think it raises the bar for everybody else. You know, I mean, I think if you go around to some of the old traditional stadiums out there and some of the things that they've done with them, particularly Lambeau Field and the atrium that they built alongside of Lambeau Field, where you go in and it's got kiosks and sales of all kinds of different Packer apparel and stuff all throughout the atrium. It's a pretty awesome site when you go into there. But I don't think, the Packers will ever go to a level like that, because what they have in Vegas it looks like it's from outer space. That building is
Death Star.
Yeah, it looks unbelievable, and I'm gonna be excited to get a chance to get in there sometime.
Mark Davis, Raiders owner, did not go to
No,
the game
exactly.
last
And
night.
I like his stance, too. I like what his stance.
Said if the fans aren't allowed in here, I'm not coming until we all can celebrate this together. What are
I
your
agree.
thoughts on that?
I completely agree. And you got to like his stance as an owner, too. He's one of the fans, and got to just appreciate his stance. And it's not like it's a ploy that he needs to sell tickets. I mean, geez, you're talking about the Raiders. They're going to sell out anyway.
Yep.
And I appreciate his stance, and, I'm not a big fan of him, but it just gave me a check mark on the, hey, good job, guy.
Nice moment before the game too, with Al's widow
yeah.
lighting the torch.
True, I like that too.
I wish the torch was real fire.
I
though.
do too.
That was my thing. The digital and the state of the art. It looks cool.
Yeah,
I don't
Al
even know
would've
if
won.
I don't even know if it looks cool.
Al would have wanted real fire.
I think so.
Yeah, and you know that.
true.
That would have probably been the first thing he would have thought of.
That's true.
We talked about real grass being in these two new stadiums, and real grass become a huge topic of concern this last week when 7 NFL players tore their ACL on Sunday alone. Yeah,
Prominent.
not just somebody off the practice squad who twisted wrong, but very, very prominent players. And I mean, what do we think, guys? Do we think the injuries are being caused by the field? We think it's being caused by a lack of preseason and preparation? What are our thoughts on this?
I disagree with the lack of preparation, because basically what you're doing is, they've had a full preseason to practice basically, and when it comes to preseason games, they basically only play, with the exception of Game 3. Yeah, you say maybe they play 3 quarters. I say maybe a half, and basically running backs, they're not going to get a lot of work, like for Saquon Barkley. You're not going to sit there and send them through the line, 15, 20 times during a preseason game. But the same point is that I just think I disagree with the fact that it's the lack of preseason games. I just think it's just more and more that these players are stronger. And
There you go.
And the defense
Now you're
is stronger.
talking.
Yeah, defense
Now
is
you're
stronger.
talking. You're going in the right direction.
And
Keep
I
going.
just think that it's not the turf. I just think it's the defenses are stronger, and the players just it's just an unfortunate happenstance.
So you think it's neither? Then?
I think it's neither. I think it has nothing to do, because Barkley tore his ACL on grass. I don't think it has nothing to do with lack of preparation or lack of preseason games.
I'm with Chuck on this. I don't think it has anything to do with anything other than that the game is getting faster and quicker. The players are bigger and stronger year after year after year. Injuries are part of the game. The players do everything that they can to try to strengthen themselves so they can handle the turning, the cutting, the movement. Unfortunately, when you have that much pressure and poundage and force coming down on you, or you're running or moving with that kind of pressure and force and speed, there are going to be injuries, and you cannot do anything about it other than give the healing time and the rest and the medical attention that's needed to those injuries, and give it the time that it needs to heal, and hopefully you can come back from it. But there's no doubt that we will continue to see as the game progresses. I think every year brings something new and different, but I do think as the athletes get bigger, faster, stronger in any sport, you're going to have more injuries, and it's just part of the game.
I
that
think
we're
the
gonna have
bodies
to
are
face.
almost too refined to the point where they're just almost so perfect that, just a little misstep, honestly, a little tweak here and there, it's just going to cause more and more injuries. Seriously.
All right, here I come.
Hey, here we go.
Here we go. I think it's both the things that I mentioned earlier. I think it does have to do with preparation. I think it does have to do with the turf. I also agree with you both that it has to do with players getting bigger and stronger. I think it's everything. I do think the preparation and I do think the field turf are more of reasons than the players being ready to go, because when you play in preseason, whether it's a quarter, whether it's 2 quarters, whether it's a game, you are going 100% full speed against your opponent. And in practice, you do not do that. It doesn't matter if it's a scrimmage. It doesn't matter what. You're going to get those couple preseason, whether it's snaps, quarter, like I said, however long it is, and you're working your way back into what is going to be game shape on week 1. And you're in the first 2 weeks of the season, and we look at MetLife Stadium in New York. You had a Steeler tear his ACL on the first game of that year, and then the second game you see a minimum, I think it was 8 players left that game due to injury and did not return between the 49ers and Jets. And 2 of those players' seasons are now over in Nick Bosa and Solomon Thomas. And I think it's a combination of everything, but I think preparation and turf have a lot more to do with it than the players being bigger and stronger.
If the injuries are because of the turf, then they better make some changes with the groundskeeping crew. Let me tell you that.
I agree.
Because if that is a reason, they're not doing a good enough job to make sure that that turf is ready to go for NFL football to be played upon it. And that to me is a real issue. If there's injuries happening because of that, then there are some other serious liabilities at hand that the player should be taking up with the players. So with Roger Goodell. Dude, there should be some phone calls being made to him saying, if we can't get this corrected, we're not playing. I'm sorry. The field has to be in pristine condition for these thoroughbreds, because that's what they are, to be able to go out and perform.
First of all, there's no reason MetLife doesn't have grass. That's one thing. You got to get that fake stuff out of there. It is an open-air stadium. There's no reason. If they can grow grass inside of Allegiant Stadium in Vegas.
I completely agree.
You can put in grass in New York or in New Jersey and grow it out there and make sure that these guys aren't having to figure out how to adjust their cleats every single week just because of this field. The home team is complaining about this.
No, I agree with you 100%.
At this level and with the technology that we have today, every field should have the same turf on it across all the stadiums.
Okay.
I know that's a little much.
That is a little much.
I know that's a little much, but
I agree with
whether
you
it's
100%.
basketball or whether it's hockey or whether it's baseball, they've done everything in those environments to try to create the same type of fields, playing surfaces, courts, so that when you step on as a professional athlete, as an NBA basketball player, as an NHL hockey player, as a National Football League player, that you have that you've been practicing and training and playing on the same surface or something very similar. Because when you're not and you're not ready for it, that's when the injuries occur.
Should I tell them about Tropicana Field in Tampa?
Yeah.
Okay. They play on a carpet in Tampa in baseball. I think, which is absolutely ridiculous, by the way. They need to do something about that. They need to switch to a turf that's
You can see the black balls flying
the little
up.
black pellets,
Yeah.
right? But I think home field advantage is nice to have when it comes to playing surfaces.
I think we've gotten beyond that now.
Yeah, in Major League Baseball, they don't make everybody's outfield walls be the same distance and the same shape, right? You get a little bit of advantage somewhere from that. Angel Stadium, for crying out loud, a couple years ago, moved the yellow line from the top of the right field wall to halfway down because they thought it would help their left-handers. Turns out the visitors are hitting more home runs. That's an Angels problem. We won't get into that. That's a whole different show. But I think for home field advantage purposes, you don't have to have the same surface at every NFL stadium, but it's got to stop with the turf. The turf has got to be done.
There has to be some kind of standard, though, and then all the greenskeepers
Something
have to be
that's
on the same page with what is across the board or what's acceptable within and across the NFL.
Yeah, no, I
Am I wrong?
No, I think that's definitely part of it. I think, yes. But I also think that lack of preseason has to do with a lot of these guys getting hurt. I just don't think they were as ready as they normally would be, and they were still expected to go out there full speed day one.
If they're not ready, they're professional athletes. It's their fault. If
I
they're
agree.
not ready, are you kidding me?
So you're a hockey coach. You're telling me that you practice as hard as you play in a game?
Absolutely, we're trying to.
You're trying to, but do you?
I mean, I think there's always an energy of a game that adds a little bit more to it, but in a practice, you're trying to do everything you can to try to replicate a game situation. And I mean, as a coach, the more you can make that happen, the more prepared your team can become. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I do understand on on a professional athlete level, you want to be cautious with injuries in practice. You want to make sure that you minimize that chance of happening. But if you're not trying to play at a speed and a pace during practice, and it doesn't have to be every day during practice, but they have a whole week to prepare for a Sunday game, to at least have one day where they're going full speed and they're getting after it. And if they're not, then I'm sorry. Then maybe the coaches should retake a look at what they're doing. And if the players aren't down with that, then I'm sorry. Then you're just more open to more potential injuries that can come from not being prepared. So, I'm sorry, but for me, if you're a professional athlete, the one thing you can control again is yourself and how much you prepare yourself and how well you take care of yourself, the sleep that you're getting, if you're eating right, if you're training right, and doing all those things, then. And unless it's a freak accident, which happens occasionally, you should be prepared to play in those games on Sundays, no matter what. Unless something really odd happens, where you get caught in a little scissors or something, and your leg gets twisted or something, or if you take a big hit, then I can't help you with that one. I mean, you shouldn't be playing in NFL if you're taking bone crushing hits because you're not ready and not aware on the field. But as a coach, absolutely, I am trying to prepare my players to play for a game at high speeds and pace in practice.
I think we can agree that an actual game is just not the same as practice. It's much more intense. And I think that's where these injuries may be coming from. I think
are you kidding me?
That's the point. That's my point. Is you're going harder in games, and you needed those games to get ready for the season, and they didn't have them.
But you're not going to do it in a practice game, though, either. You're not going to go full bore at 100.
And that to me is always the killer thing about preseason football. It's just.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
I don't think it's a waste of time, and I think it's led to.
If it's not a waste of time, why is the NFL considering cutting back 2 preseason games?
You're still getting 2 preseason games. You're still getting a couple practices before you go in against an opponent that you don't see. I think that it all has to do with it.
Most of the top guys are playing a quarter and they're out anyways.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're still getting yourself in game shape and ready to go.
But
you're not doing that in
they're
practice.
not even playing it at a real game pace.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. It's like half
When
speed out there.
When you've got 90-something guys on your roster going out there who are all trying to fight for a job, you're telling me they're not going at full speed?
Okay, I'm sorry. Guy 50 through 90, they're going 110%.
Look,
but everybody else, sorry,
I
no.
think lack of a preseason has definitely led to some of these injuries, and I think in a few weeks you're going to see everything start to decrease and even off, and everybody's going to be back to where they should be.
Let's just agree to this, that there's a multitude of reasons why there's some injuries happening right now, coming down from terrible greenskeepers on the fields, terrible turf preferences, lack of preparation. I'm sorry. There's a multitude of reasons, and we can agree upon that.
Yes, we can.
Okay? But I'm just going to say, lastly, the players, they can control some of this stuff by their own personal preparation and taking care of themselves.
Well, hopefully the NFL can saw down some of these reasons and
I know they're not going to listen to me, but okay.
They're not going to listen to me either. They might listen to Chuck. Who knows? They usually do. All right, let's get to our predictions here as we get toward the end of the show. Super Bowl contenders, predictions. You guys got any calls for the Super Bowl this year?
I do.
What do you got, Chuck?
Seattle, Kansas City.
Ooh. All right. Well, all right. No explanation needed.
I am not even going to get in this one. Sorry.
You don't even have a guess?
What am I going to say? The Packers? Yeah, the Packers.
He didn't pick his team.
Well, I'm going to.
Against who?
No, I don't even know. KC.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm with him. I've got Kansas City, Seattle also. Yep. All right, there's that. We got a couple questions that were sent in to us. Let's go ahead and read those real quick.
Well, that was pretty easy, huh?
Yeah, I guess there was no explanation needed. Boston native.
I don't know. You got some dice? We could just throw them out there. And, who knows this year?
After 2 games? Yeah. Boston native 57 wants to know, now that Cam Newton played his first game as a Patriot, what do you guys think?
Actually, I'm more and more impressed. Not only after the first game, but even after the second game, my only worry about Cam Newton is he going to be able to last the full 16 games. Obviously, he's running the ball like he used to back in Carolina. I'm just not sure he's going to be able to sit there and take all those hits for a full 16-game season. I mean, you look at that last play against Seattle in the final play against Seattle. Everybody knew he was running the ball, and seriously. You look at it, and I'm not sure if a human body can sit there and take, especially for a quarterback. I know he's a big guy, but he's getting older and older as well. I'm just not sure if the human body can sit there and take 20 to 25 hits like Cam's been taking. And not only that, but when he's back to pass too, he's going to take some hits as well. You know what? I'm impressed with what he's done. I mean, you see the zip on his passes. With the he's spot on with his passing, and I think that Belichick, he's the evil genius that he is, has done well to work with Cam's strengths. I'm just worried about whether or not he's going to last the season. That's my whole thing. If not, he's going to probably take him to the AFC Championship game. My question is he going to stay healthy? And that's my only worry.
4 rushing touchdowns, 2 in each game so far this year for New England. Coach, your thoughts?
Excited to see where they go throughout the year. Obviously, everybody's eyes are on that, but I've always felt that New England's all about culture. And if they can get Cam Newton inside that culture and he believes in it and he plays with the heart that the rest of the team has, that's going to be one tough team to stop.
My concern with them is not the offense. My concern with them is their defense. It's not good. It's been a few years now where everybody touts how great the secondary is in New England and how great the defense is. I don't see it. I think we saw that against Seattle the other night. They make little mistakes that are amplified into huge mistakes, and they end up getting caught and they blow football games.
Seattle. That shows you how good Seattle's offense is, though.
And maybe that's true too. But I don't think Cam Newton is going to be the downfall of this team. I think it's going to be the defense. I'm excited to watch him play so far. I mean, again, like you said, with all the rushing, the problem with that last play on Sunday for me was that everybody knew what was coming,
exactly.
And there was no way to disguise it, which is something Belichick is known for. And Josh McDaniels dropped the ball, and we've learned once again that if you're headed into that, the north end zone there at CenturyLink Field with the game on the line, it's a hard thing to do.
No, exactly.
Because we saw the Seahawks failed going that way at the end of last regular season.
You're running the teeth. Plus, you run the teeth. Seattle's defense is no slouch either. I'm sorry. I mean, run some misdirection, run something. Honestly, everybody knew he was going to get it, and that's the whole thing that bugged me. I was kind of shocked that they allowed that play. But
you're right. We got time for one more question. Jeremy's son, the best hockey player who has the longest Instagram handle in the history of mankind, wants to ask, is Russell Wilson a future Hall of Famer?
Yes, absolutely, 100% yes. And you know what? We talked about this before the show, too. I find it absolutely appalling that he's never, ever, ever received one MVP vote.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a crime right there. Russell Wilson, the guy, you have that guy dead to right, and the guy will sit there and not only come out and either have a 15, 20-yard gain, but he can also sit there and fling it down the field for 50 yards as well. The guy is just elusive. He's the most elusive quarterback maybe with the exception of Patty Mahomes, but he is. And
Lamar Jackson.
And Lamar Jackson. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot about Lamar up in Baltimore. I mean, those are two. But, Russell's also, 5, 7 years older than them, too?
Mm-hmm.
But still, Russell Wilson is just – he's almost in – a class by himself, seriously.
I don't think there is a more valuable player to his franchise than Russell Wilson.
That's why he's worth the money.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So are we going by today's standards or yesteryear standards? Because
for Hall of Fame voting?
Yes.
It's got to be current, right? That's the era he's living in.
I understand that, but if we were going by yesteryear standards, no. But by today's standards, yes.
Why no?
I just, for me, I think he's an unbelievable athlete. When I watch him, I really enjoy what he can do on the field. Just his ability to move. He's just an all-around great athlete.
He wins football games. That's all he does. He wins football games.
What if he wins the Super Bowl this year?
Championships, baby.
He's won one.
Down to it.
He's won one. He's brought him to. He was on the precipice of winning another one.
One. Really?
If he wins,
there's a lot of guys that have won one Super Bowl that have not been Hall of Famers.
Okay, so was Aaron Rodgers a Hall of Famer?
Well, he's broken a lot of records.
Oh. Well, he's only won once, though.
He's only won once. So maybe he's not. Maybe he's not.
But Favre's only won one Super Bowl, hasn't he?
Yeah. That's true.
Well, let's face it. When it comes to Hall of Fame, if you're a part of the good old boys club and you can get in with those guys, then you'll get voted in.
Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer. If he's not a first,
in your mind, I think he's a great athlete too. I love watching him. If you ask me, I say yes too.
I think
but
just because he's playing up
I'm
in
not-
Seattle, and the problem
I'm
is
not-
the East
I'm
Coast
not
doesn't see
voting.
him, and the Midwest. Basically, he's playing basically at 4 o'clock on the East Coast. Not a lot. He's not highly publicized. Honestly, I honestly think he's just one of those people kind of lost in the East Coast kind of bias where no one really gets to see him play a lot.
I don't think they have that with the NFL. I think everybody's watching every game. But something's going on here that's keeping him back. Like we said, the MVP voting, that he hasn't gotten one yet in his
Which is a
career
crime.
is absolutely ridiculous. I don't have enough information yet if he will be elected to the Hall of Fame.
If he's not, it's a crime. I'll burn the thing down.
I think if he's at the pace he's going, he's going to need to win one more.
Oh my gosh.
What did I just say?
I know what you said. I'm here to be the moderator and to
No, you're not.
I'm here to mix the pot up. That's
what
what
are
the
you
hot
talking about?
That's what the hot seat
You
is
got
for.
bigger, better
Aaron
opinions
Rodgers,
than
geez,
both of
come
us
on.
put together, and now you're just going to play halfway, playing a fence.
All right, then how about this?
Kevin
If-
Green's in there. He hasn't won a Super Bowl.
If the vote was tomorrow,
or maybe one with the
no,
No, okay, good.
with the rest of his career ahead of him,
Yeah,
yes.
man. Listen, I think he's got a bright future. I'm really excited to see where he can go. But
So I guess based on the question, is he a future Hall of Famer? My answer would be yes.
He's a Hall of Famer right now. in
well,
my
I don't
book.
know. I mean, he can be. What happens? He goes
He's
and
a Hall of
gets
Famer.
drilled
Hands
this
down.
weekend and is out for good.
Then hopefully nobody up in Washington watched this episode because you'll be on witness protection.
He's a Hall of Famer, hands down.
I'll tell you
Hands
what.
down.
All right. Don't forget.
Right now?
Yes. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
You know what? I'm so proud of you for watching your language twice today.
Yes.
I'm just going to
I
throw
was
that
going to say
out there.
freaking, but still.
Well, you don't have to come up. I figure you're going to come over here and punch me or something.
No, I'm not going to punch. I'm
He
just saying.
gets all of it out before the show, and then
Yeah.
we will afterwards. Also, it'll be a good time. Don't forget, you can head to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and you can submit your comments at CIH Media. You can submit a question too. We read a couple of them on the show here today, and look out for our posts on social media. We'll let you know what the topic is coming up for the next show, and you can submit your questions and have them read right here on the air. Final thoughts, gentlemen, going forward for the rest of the season.
It's going to be a tough season for the Bears. I'll tell you that much right now. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm going to watch every game. Other than that, I'm kind of interested to see where the Raiders go still. I think it's going to be interesting to see what Gruden has with that team. It looks like the offense is clicking. David Carr looks like he's going to be
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. David Carr, that's right. My gosh, both out of Fresno State. That's right.
Yep.
But also, it's going to be interesting to see if Mahomes could sit there and Andy Reid could sit there and get that Chiefs team all the way through 16-0 as well.
Iceman.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to about halfway through to see where everything is at and see the advancement and growth of all the teams. Because I do think, like you said, it's going to take a little while for them to get up to top end speed. So I'm really kind of looking forward to that, and yeah, I'll check back in on this later.
All right.
I got one other thing. What I've heard too is that the players are being really responsible about the COVID responsibility too. So you know what, hats off to the players on all of them as well. They've been really, really responsible about that, and let's hope they keep that up as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to see this thing go all the way to the end and catch the Super Bowl in February. Hopefully, with fans in attendance, of course, some fans have been allowed in certain stadiums, and hopefully that continues to increase as the season goes along. For me, I'm going to be interested to see how my Niners deal with all the injuries they've had to deal with now. They're the defending NFC champions. You know that if you lose a Super Bowl, the following year usually isn't all that great. Only 70% of the time. It sounds like a high number, but when you think of it, it's not. 70% of the time, if you lose the Super Bowl, you make the playoffs the next year. That's not a great number. They're already a full game behind everyone else in the division who's 2-0. They've got a long way to climb. They got to play on that turf again in the upcoming week against the Giants. So long way to go. But
Dave
see
Brown's
how
looking good too.
What's that?
Dave Brown's looking good too.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see how the rest of this season goes. That's going to do it for us today here on Comin In Hot. It's the Iceman, Mike Perkins, the Laser, Chuck Lasik. I'm Eric Pesolano. We'll see you next time. We were just coming in hot.